Hey, it is Monday. What is August 4th of 2025? And it's your good friend, it's your pal, it's your compadre, it's TC, everybody. How you doing? Oh, I've been using Grok lately. They've got a new video generation tool in the Grok AI app, and I animated a bunch of stuff from, let's see, Tom and Jared and Amanda and Casey and Sandy and everybody. I got to run those tomorrow. I forgot to run those today. So, but anyways, I got some funny videos that I'll be showing you here tomorrow from the record store from back in the day. So there you go. Hey, welcome to Rock This Town Live. We are here every Monday through Friday, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 6 Mountain Time Zone, and 5 on the West Coast. What are we talking about today? Well, we're talking about Vince Neil and Motley Crue. Well, Vince Neil specifically. Vince Neil is back on, excuse me. It happens eventually, or sometimes. But anyways, I apologize. Okay, so we're talking about Vince Neil. We're talking about Metallica. We're talking about Guns N' Roses. We're talking about Lonnie Anderson, because unfortunately we lost Lonnie this past weekend. Of course, a fixture on WKRP and a fixture, at least for a little while, as Burt Reynolds' wife. So there you go. I'll have my vinyl of the day. See if you can figure it out from the back. You probably can, because it's kind of an obvious. I guess what year did this come out? Did this come out? I kind of gave it away there, didn't I? 1990. That's what I was thinking. 1990. So we'll have that coming up. Some vinyl announcements today, some tour news, and all the good stuff. So, of course, if you missed the show, you can always rewind if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, or if you're like, it's like 8 days later and it's like, ooh, I should go see what he talked about on August 4th. Well, there you go. You can just hit YouTube and find the show and go from there. All right, cool. And then, of course, it's available as a podcast as well. So there you go. Very nice. And if you're hanging out in the chat, I appreciate you hanging out in the chat live. And if you want to comment on the show after the fact, you can do that as well. So pretty good. Pretty good. All right. I was like reliving the past, and let's relive the past 35 years ago today. I wouldn't say music changed, but this is one of the better albums of all time, and at least in the hard rock world. 35 years ago in 1990, Queensryche's Empire was released. There you go. August 4th, 1990, this bad boy came out. Wait, September 4th. Wait, what's today? August 4th. Ah, crap. They say that to play a dumb guy, you have to be really smart, at least according to Mr. T. So there you go. Okay. So a month from today, it will be the 35th anniversary. I actually looked at this several times and I don't know why it didn't register. It's August, not September. Anyways, we'll still relive the past. This is Queensryche and it is Empire. It is, well, let's see, 35 times 12 is what? Let's do some quick math here. That would be 35 would be 350 times 2. Wait, is that right? 350 months. Anyways, times 2 would be 24. So that'd be 372. So 371 months ago, Queensryche's Operation Mindcrime was released. I don't know if you bought the album back then. I did. I loved it. I did not buy it on vinyl. It is a hard record to find on vinyl from 1990, as you can imagine. So there you go. But that's the Queensryche record, which is celebrating its 371st anniversary today. Next month, we'll be able to talk about it again. Sorry, I'm kind of a ding dong. So there you go. Let me check out and see what's going on in the chat. Hey, Estes, good to see you. Beat After Beat is here as well. Good to see you guys as well. Very cool. All right. So kind of some big news in the rock world. I know these dates are, well, from a couple days ago, but Vince Neil showed up again after 10 months of kind of what's going on with Vince. The whispers, there's something wrong with him. It's something serious. No. No, it's just minor. Well, it seems like it's been pretty minor there. So he came out. He played Boston, Bangor, and Bethel, New York, with Bret Michaels, Stephen Pearcy, and Vince Neil, of course. Well, it only makes sense that he was there. And he did only 7 songs, so it wasn't like this long set list and stuff. The songs he did, I've got the song list in front of me. Did Dr. Feelgood? Nice. Shout at the Devil? Okay. Looks that kill. I can hear Vince singing in my head. That's what made me smile because Vince, he's little David Lee Rothy. He's little pitchy dog, as Randy Jackson from American Idol used to say. Smoking in the boys' room, Kickstart My Heart, Girls, 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 and Wild Side. So hardly competing with quote unquote a Motley Crue show in some ways. So maybe Tommy and Nikki and John Five. I guess I don't know if he has a vote these days since Mick has been kicked out of the band apparently. But yeah, I'm sure it's like, well, if Vince needs to warm up, it's maybe not the worst thing in the world. Maybe that's the way Nikki and Tommy look at it. So there you go. In case you're curious, Stephen Pearcy only did 7 songs as well. So it was kind of an abbreviated gig for both Pearcy and for Vince Neil. Pearcy did Wanted Man, Slip of the Lip, You're in Love. Warren DeMartini was not with him. Lay It Down he did, Lack of Communication, Way Cool Jr., Back for More, and of course Round and Round. And then of course Bret Michaels actually was the headliner in this one. I think Vince came on second and then Pearcy opened the show, but Bret Michaels, Talk Dirty to Me, Ride Like the Wind, Look What the Cat Dragged In, nice, Your Mama Don't Dance, Something to Believe In, Fallen Angel, Unskinny Bop, a drum solo. Really, a drum solo? Maybe to give Bret Michaels a blow, and then Every Rose Has Its Thorn, rather, Sweet Home Alabama, and Nothing But a Good Time. So that was the Vince Neil and Stephen Pearcy and Bret Michaels show this weekend. So, but yeah, Vince seems to be back. Of course, Motley Crue is doing a, what is it, in September and October? I think it is. They're doing a residency in Vegas. So you got that to look forward to. It seems like Vince is going to be able to play there. And I know Vince lives in Vegas, so it'll be easy access for him. So not too shabby, right? Right? Maybe not. Maybe not. All right, cool. Metallica actually accomplished something on the Billboard album charts this week, the top 200 album charts. Metallica has now spent 800 weeks at on the Billboard 200. So that's a lot. Let's do some let's see, 800 into 52. I always do this the wrong way. 15 years. I guess I did it right this time. So that's 15 years on the Billboard 200. Pretty good, pretty good. So a lot of people that kind of crap on the Black Album because Metallica changed their sound. Well, they definitely went mainstream there. I saw an article too this past weekend where Bob Rock was defending Load and Reload. I have no problem with Load and Reload. The Black Album is really good. See, for me, I love the first, I guess, 8 records from Metallica. The original 4, I guess you could say. And then you had Black, Reload, and Load. And then, of course, Garage Days, which, Garage Days, Inc., I guess it was. So I love that. I know that's kind of a best of, a lot of punk covers and stuff on it, but I thought that was just fantastic. So there you go. That's kind of cool. So now you ask yourself, or maybe you're asking me, TC, my friend, what is the 3 other albums that have spent more than 800 weeks on the Billboard Top 200 Albums chart? Well, Dark Side of the Moon is number 1, as you probably guess. That was always legendary, even back in the 80s and the 90s, how long that record had been in the Billboard 200. And then Legend by Bob Marley. Yep. Okay, cool. We always sold the hell out of that when those records came in. Well, I mean, actually, between the Black Album, Dark Side of the Moon, and Legend, I guess maybe we didn't keep Legend stocked as well as we should have. But yeah, the Black Album always sold, Dark Side of the Moon always sold, Legend always sold, and Journey's Greatest Hits. Now they did a reissue of that, and it's a little more pricey, so that wasn't selling as well because that's a double album exactly. So there you go. I don't know what I meant by exactly there. So when I was having another thought. So one of the things that you notice about, say, a band like Metallica, a band like Pink Floyd, a band like, say, System of a Down, they've never done a greatest hits record. Thus, their catalog is not cannibalized by their own product. So many bands have done these greatest hits records like Journey, And I mean, Def Leppard, Van Halen has done greatest hits, but it's hard to find Van Halen greatest hits records. That they can go into a store and find a Van Halen greatest hits record these days. But so many bands like that have put out greatest hits records, and maybe that's why they don't sell as well. The Queensryche, to their credit, talking about Queensryche at the beginning of the show, I don't think they've ever done a greatest hits record. Maybe they have, but I don't think so. You know who would know? My good friend, my pal, my compadre, Ivor would probably know that. So if you know it, mention it in the chat. Hey, Herbert, thanks for hanging out tonight. All right, so what's up next on the agenda here tonight? Guns N' Roses. Apparently, there was a spatial audio remix, for like Apple Music kind of thing, which is, I guess, like the highest level of surround sound these days, spatial audio. And Stephen Wilson of Porcupine Tree, who's done a lot of these remixes. I mean, just a ton of remixed audio that people seem to love. Well, apparently Guns N' Roses did not love it. They said Ixnay on the OJ on the OJ May or whatever. So there you go. But yeah, I can see why. I guess Guns N' Roses does that because they want to protect the catalog, though. I mean, come on. Okay, Chinese Democracy is a legitimate album. The Spaghetti Incident, not really. GNR Lies, nobody really counts that either, I suppose. But if I was building out a top 5 Guns N' Roses chart, I would definitely probably include some of those. But I mean, really, is Guns N' Roses down to 3 albums? I guess you can, like I said, include Chinese Democracy, but it's Use Your Illusion 1 and 2, and then, of course, Appetite. So Live Like a Suicide would be in there as well, but once again, that is live stuff. So, but yeah, Stephen Wilson says his Guns N' Roses spatial audio remix has been shelved because the band did not like it. So will it ever see the light of day? I don't know. Maybe not. What year did that came out? That came out in 91, right? So that would be the 35th anniversary next year. So perhaps there'll be some special editions of that. I don't know if there's ever been a box set for Use Your Illusion. I know Appetite has had a box set, which is super cool. But I don't think, actually in the article too that I was reading, Stephen Wilson said that there was like B-sides and extras as well that he had done as well. So I think it was like 40 tracks in total he mentioned. So it'd be kind of cool to do a box set. I should see if I don't think there's ever been a Use Your Illusion box set. Let me see if I can find anything out about that really quick. Use Your Illusion, Michael. Let's see, box set. I don't think so. Well, there's a 1 and 2, but let's see. Use Your Illusion 1 and 2, box set, LP. Oh, maybe there was. Oh, look at this, 2002. Apparently there was. Wow. How many songs on this one? Well, a lot, but not a lot of extras, it looks like. So it was a 2 LP or 4 LP. So there you go. And it had a slipcase. And this is, yeah, I'm just kind of looking at this here. So I can show you what it looked like. Let me pull it into the screen here. And that's what the Guns N' Roses featured: premium tip-on jacket, exclusive foil slipcase, exclusive zoetrope turntable mat plus instructions. So there you go. So apparently 3 years ago, there was a quote-unquote box set, but I really wouldn't call it a box set. If you're looking for one, it's probably going to set you back about 150. So not too shabby. There you go. Cool. All right. Yeah, Stephen Wilson also mentions that the band didn't like it, and it's just sitting on a hard drive, unreleased and unheard. He said it's such a shame. Ain't that a shame, as Cheap Trick would say. You guys watch WKRP back in the day? I loved WKRP because I was always interested in radio back in the day, and WKRP was kind of that gateway. News radio, I think, was a good show, but I never really got into it. I know Joe Rogan was on there, Phil Hartman, Andy Dick, Mara Tierney, if I'm saying her name right, and then a cast of others. But yeah, Lonnie Anderson passed away, so rest in peace, Lonnie. She does not take dictation. She does not type letters. She does, well, I guess she answers the phone. She does not get coffee. So that show was so classic back in the day. I loved it in reruns, and they had a ton of music in that show. That if you buy the DVDs now, you just the music gets edited out. So because they're not going to pay licensing for Pink Floyd, they're not going to pay licensing for Van Halen and the Stones and all this other stuff. So it kind of loses its appeal, unfortunately. So, but I actually looked it up. Everyone now is gone from the main cast of WKRP except for Les Nessman is still with us. So not rest in peace. I hope Les continues to have a good life. That was played. I forget the guy who played that. Gary Sandy is still with us. He played Andy Travis. Bailey Quarters is still with us. And then finally, Tim Reed is still with us. Of course, Tim Reed wasn't Tim Reed on Simon and Simon after WKRP? He played the great Venus Flytrap. So there you go. And Estes apparently has, yes, not Estes, Herver has the Guns N' Roses Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. That's super cool. So yeah, it did come out worldwide. I'm surprised that's not more in demand, but yeah, because those are two great records. I mean, I could edit it down if I wanted to, because I didn't know if we needed all that music, but still, I'll take it because we've got so little music from Guns N' Roses back in the day. So it's just like take anything you got there. So cool, cool. Hey, if you want to join the show, I still need to schedule some time with Estes. I haven't forgotten Estes. Don't worry. And then also Terry and Richard, among others. You can shoot me an email, tc at heytc, if you want to show off kind of some rare or high value stuff in your collection. Make us all jealous. Maybe I'll make you an offer that you can refuse, and we can go from there. Right? Cool, cool. All right. Top 5 Queensryche albums. There's some good stuff on here that I left off. I'm very disappointed that I left off Promised Land. I really love the Promised Land record. I know Operation Mindcrime 2 is a really good record too, if you're kind of into a little more, modern Queensryche over the last, say, 20 years rather than going back 35 years. And this is the wrong thing. Hang on a second. I'm showing the Anthrax thing. All right, hang on. I forgot to load that in. Every once in a while, I forget to do something, and that is my Queensryche right there. I'm going to hit that, and then I'm going to hit this, and I'm going to hit this. This is the production on the show, man. On the fly, I'm doing the production. So there you go. Not my top 5 Anthrax records. These are my top 5 Queensryche records. Do you have a favorite Queensryche record? I would ask. I think there's a lot to choose from there. So obviously, there's no Promised Land on here. There is no The Warning. I did not put The Warning on here. And I know that some people may say, well, the Queensryche EP is an EP. It's only 4 songs, but come on. Queen of the Reich is on it. The Lady Wore Red. Or was it the Lady Wore Black? I always get that confused. I think it's the Lady Wore Red, right? Yeah. Oh, the Lady Wore Black. I don't know what I'm thinking. See? That's what crazy looks like, man. Anyway, so I went with at number 5. I could have gone with Promised Land. I could have gone with The Warning, but I ended up going with the EP because I love the EP. It is fantastic. Rage for Order, number 4, just a great album from '86. Operation Live Crime. I love live music, and I think this is one of the best live albums ever released. Unfortunately, it's never been released on vinyl. I want this as a vinyl release. I don't know if we'll ever get it, but I keep anybody I talk to in the music industry, I'm like, oh, you guys should pick up the rights to Operation Live Crime. They're like, yeah, well, we'll look into that. Well, you need to do more than look into it. You need to do it. So, anyways, I got Empire at number 2. I love Empire. It is so good. And we talked about Silent Lucidity last week. And all Jet City Woman, Della Brown, the title track Empire. But I got to go Operation Mindcrime number 1 because my favorite Queensryche song is probably the title track there, Operation Mindcrime. Revolution Calling is so good. Eyes of a Stranger. That album is just, I mean, I've never gotten into kind of these concept records, but with Queensryche, damn. I said, damn, to quote, to paraphrase, I guess. Um, what's her name from Pulp Fiction? drawn a mind blank. Mrs. Mia Wallace. So there you go. Cool. So that's my top five. Um, Coming up tomorrow on the show, I'm going to do top five rock albums of 1985. There was some good stuff that came in there. I got to do some 90s stuff in there too, because 1990 was a great year. Cinderella had a great record that year. Of course, Queensryche had a great record that year. So there you go. All right, let me see if Paula has chimed in. Very nice. Operation Mindcrime. All right, very nice. And Empire. That is so good. Beat After Beat, Rage for Order, and Empire. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And then Herver with Empire as well. Very cool. And Paula also says, Sweet Sister Mary. Oh, yeah. That is such an underrated, and the live version of Sweet Sister Mary with the vocalist in it, so good, so good. I love it. I love it. Hey Tito, good to see you, buddy boy. Thanks for hanging out. We've been talking about Vince Neil. We've been talking about Guns N' Roses and Metallica and Lonnie Anderson, and now a little top five Queensryche albums. So there you go. So cool. All right, let's move on. What else is coming up? Oh, new announcements. Well, this wasn't really announced, but I wanted to since I mentioned Vince Neil and the rest of Motley Crue in a kind of sort of roundabout sort of way, I wanted to mention that from the beginning, not back to the beginning like Black Sabbath did. From the beginning, this record's called. It is yet another greatest hits record from Motley Crue. I think this is like number 3 or 4 from the Crue. But to their credit, those catalog records still sell. It's impossibly hard to find Dr. Feelgood on vinyl because that record always sells out. Maybe because the young people love Motley Crue and they love the full-length albums and stuff. Like Audrey collected the full-length albums of Motley Crue. So there's that. But anyways, this is a greatest hits package. The kind of the claim to fame on this one is it's got the Dolly Parton doing Home Sweet Home. I didn't need that. I love Dolly, all due respect. I love Motley Crue, but I didn't need Dolly singing over Vince's Home Sweet Home parts from 1985 with her voice in 2025, some 40 years later. It did nothing for me. I know some people like it. I get it. It's fine, but I don't know if I need to. I just want the original copy of Home Sweet Home. If you're asking me, kind of a gimmick release. I love the cover actually because it's got that classic look, like it's been sitting in your collection for about I don't know, 40 years or so. So there you go. Cool, cool, cool. Anybody into Halford? I never got into the Halford. I know there was the Fight record that he did after he left Judas Priest, and then he did Halford himself. And they're reissuing a couple of Halford records. This is probably the biggest one that they're reissuing. The Crucible. Well, he is the one that's a little more popular, but that one wasn't being reissued. This one is. It is the Crucible. It's really cool, kind of a ghostly purple vinyl, and it's a 2 LP that comes out on September 12th, running about $40. So if you're looking to expand the Judas Priest collection of vinyl, well, there you go. You can get the Halford records at somewhat of a decent price, I'd say. The Motley Crue record, by the way, comes out the same day, September 12th, and that's going to be around $35. So there you go. Cool. What else as far as new vinyl? Original master recordings. These are mobile fidelity pressings. These are the Ultra Disc one-step pressings. This got announced. There is no release date yet. It is Stevie Nicks' Belladonna. There's a lot of Stevie Nicks. There's a lot of Fleetwood Mac. There's a lot of Buckingham Nicks being reissued right now because young people love Stevie. So anything connected to Stevie is like gold these days. So that's going to be reissued. These are it's one record in theory. I think it's probably just one record. But they're it's like a box set. They're very nice. I mean, Jen and I think have Van Halen 1 version. Oh no, we also have Thriller. I think we also have Thriller, and we had the Eagles self-titled, and I think Desperado as well. Then we're just like, these are too expensive. What's the price on this? 125 beans. I don't know if I love Stevie that much. I don't know if I love this record as much. The only record I could see doing this for is Operation Live Crime, which is never going to happen, unfortunately. Maybe Hysteria. Oh, Pyromania. Van Halen 1984, actually, that's coming soon. They just announced Diver Down. They're going through the first 6 albums as original master recordings, and they're up to Diver Down now, which, okay, but then 1984, maybe 1984. That's such a great record. So, anyways, to be determined on a release date on that, but it's going to cost you $125 if you're interested in getting that bad boy from Stevie. And then finally, and then I'll run to the chat after we get through this, and we'll catch up on some chat. The Blues Brothers, The Lost Recordings is coming out on blue vinyl, of course, from the studio mastering audio tape. So that's cool. If you're a Blues Brothers fan, I have never seen that movie from beginning to end. There's just some movies that I've never seen from beginning to end. I watched Happy Gilmore 2 weeks ago, and I'd never seen the beginning of that movie. Whenever you see it on cable or whatever on streaming, you always catch it in the middle. If it was streaming, meaning not like you're playing it on Netflix, if you're catching it on some YouTube TV or Pluto TV or something like that, it was always kind of in motion. And I've never seen the Blues Brothers, so I don't know, is that a good movie? Is it worth sitting down and watching? I actually started watching Born on the 4th of July. I kind of like Oliver Stone, at least with the Wall Street movie. I love that movie. It's so good. Talk Radio. He did another movie called Talk Radio with Eric Bogosian that was actually really good. If you've never seen that movie, I would suggest checking it out. And then Born on the 4th of July, which has Tom Cruise in it. I'm into it where he's in Vietnam now, and we'll see what happens. So I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm going to like the movie, but we shall see. It's kind of a little bit political, but everything Oliver Stone does, I guess, is a little bit political. So, anyways, all right. Let me check the chat here. Let's see. Tito mentioned Operation Mindcrime. Very nice. I concur indubitably. And Herver mentioned, I saw Jeff Tate recently on the Operation Mindcrime tour. Very cool. But did you go with him to Italy, Herver? Like Chad from Tucson, one of our local favorites, did. I think this past summer. So that's pretty cool. Tito says regarding the Motley Crue, love Home Sweet Home version with Chester. Is that Chester Bennington you're referring to? I would assume so. I don't know that version. If there is a version, that's cool. Beat After Beat mentioned I have Halford in my created playlist. I think the fight stuff and the Halford stuff, and it was almost too metal for me. Go figure. And then, of course, Painkiller came out before that stuff, but I did love Painkiller, so go figure. And then Tito mentions, love me some Stevie. Everybody loves Stevie. So there you go. Reminder, we're live on YouTube starting exclusively on September 23rd. So if you'd go over to YouTube and make sure you subscribe there for free, that would be dandy. And there's Jerry the Parrot. All right, Jerry. Shouting out Jerry. All right. New concert announcements. This one, I guess, isn't a new announcement, but it's coming up in 10 days. The Scorpions with Buck Cherry opening. So pretty good gig at Planet Hollywood. That is coming to Las Vegas, 60 years of the Scorpions. Of course, they just did what was it? They did their homecoming on, July 5th. In Hanover, Germany. They didn't bring out any special guests. Michael Schenker wasn't there. Uli John Roth wasn't there. Herman Z. German was not there, unfortunately. Francis Buchholz was not there because they're on the outs with Francis. Of course, the bass player in the kind of classic lineup, the 80s lineup of Scorpions. But I saw they put out a promo video because they recorded it. They shot the show in front of 70,000 people in Germany. There's a video up on YouTube. And it's them coming out doing Blackout. Klaus is showing his age a little bit, but he sounded good. Rudolf Schenker is amazing. He's got energy. Matthias has got energy. Of course, Mickey D now playing drums. Mickey D, famous of Motorhead, playing drums for Scorpions. And I gotta say, it looked really cool because they were using drones and stuff too. So the drones are kind of flying around with the cameras and stuff. So it gives you kind of a next level of stuff. Actually, my brother-in-law is an amazing drone pilot. So, and he actually worked Red Rocks, helping out another guy that did drone footage for a concert at Red Rock because he's out of Denver. So, anyways, I don't know. Scorpion's still really good, still really cool. So, there you go. Sleep Token have announced a well, not a headliner. They're the headliner. Announced a opening act. It's called Thornhill out of Australia. I've never heard of Thornhill. Sounds like a WB drama from back in like 2003. This week on Thornhill, Casey says that she wants to move their relationship with Joey to the next level, but Joey is worried about it on an all new special Thornhill only on the WB or perhaps UPN 9 or UPN. I guess that's what the channel was called. Anyways, Thornhill is opening. If you want tickets, forget about it. The concert tour in the US is already sold out. That is one hot ticket. Of course, you can get it at the aftermarket stuff, but you're better off just waiting for the day of the show and saying, can I get a kiss? Will you make it last forever? No, wait, that's wrong. Can I get a concert ticket? And can I get it at a decent price? Maybe, maybe not. All right, cool. Saliva announced a tour today with Earshot and the Founder opening. I don't really know much about Earshot. Don't know much about the Founder. I know a little bit about Saliva. So decent band, right? That came out in the 2000s? I think it was around the 2000s, right around the turn of the century. So I see a Phoenix date in there, Albuquerque as well. Where else they going? It looks like they're doing South Dakota and Sioux Falls. Very nice. New Jersey. So all throughout the country. So Saliva going to be on tour coming up in what is that? Well, in I guess October and November. Looks like into December. If that is small print, man, that is really small print. That's ridiculously small print. And then Mammoth, which is Wolfgang Van Halen's band, announced a tour with very special guest Miles Kennedy opening. Miles Kennedy, of course, sings in Alter Bridge. I wonder if he's allowed to do Alter Bridge songs on his own, or if Mark Tremonti and the rest of the guys, or three-fourths of Creed, say, no, we don't want you doing Alter Bridge. And then Miles Kennedy, I'm wondering if he's allowed to do Slash and the Conspirators songs with Slash, of course, from Guns N' Roses, his solo band, which uses Miles Kennedy, or if Slash is like, no, don't do any of my stuff, or if Miles Kennedy is just doing his own stuff. So I don't know. He's probably just doing his own stuff if he's opening for Wolfgang. So a little U.S. tour coming up in, what is that, October and November and December, just before Christmas. It's Christmas. Exactly. So, all right, cool. Let me check the chat again, see if I'm missing anything. Well, actually, before I check the chat, I should mention that if you're digging the show and you've come this far, perhaps you want to go a little further. Come across the border in Fort Hancock, Texas, and I'll meet you at Say Wantaneo with Andy Dufresne and Red. And we'll go on the boat and we'll have a good time all of the time. So, but anyway, smash the like button if you're digging the show. And if you want to do me a favor and share it with a friend or a couple of friends, that would be cool. I'd appreciate it. That would be awesome. Very nice. And then, my vinyl of the day. Well, actually, let's go ahead and move this. Let's go ahead and move this up. Let's go right there. Okay, cool. And let's go back there. Cool. Oh, that's the wrong one. Okay, here we go. There you go. All right, cool. Beat After Beats us. Mickey D was with the King Diamond in the beginning. Oh, I did not know that. King Diamond. I love that name, by the way. Just like Diamond Head as well, you know. I got the Sixth Fleet coming around Diamond Head, or the Japanese Sixth Fleet coming around Diamond Head, headed to Pearl Harbor. So nobody wants that. So. But yeah, there you go. Cool. Yeah, Chad did actually go on tour, so to speak, in Italy, ate his way up and down the boot with Jeff Tate. So that is super cool there. So very nice. Paula mentions Mammoth going to at the Marquee. Cool place. Yeah, that is a cool place. And saw Jeff Tate's Operation Mindcrime there. Very nice, very nice. I have not seen that. I think Jeff Tate opened for the Scorpions a number of years ago when the Scorpions were here, and Jen saw that show. I wasn't able to go, unfortunately. So there you go. But I already did that. Smash the like button. I'm moving on. Okay, vinyl of the day. That's where I was. Okay, cool. So that's right. It is Heartbreak Station from Cinderella. If you wanted to buy a copy of this these days, it's out of print. Maybe it'll be reissued. It is the 35th anniversary this year, but so far it's not being reissued. But Cinderella records always sold really well on the show, in the store. We paid, I think you can see it there, $26 for this back in the day when we got it. I guess probably about 5 years ago. These days, you may be looking at $75 to $100 to get a copy. It's the original label. This is a reissue. If you want an OG copy as well, a US press is probably going to set you back once again. If you can find one, a 1990 US press is incredibly hard to find. I think there was like one copy for sale in the US that I saw, and somebody wanted $249, which is ridiculous. That's just crazy. But a buck and a quarter to 150 will probably get you an OG copy, and something like this, maybe $75. So, but we'll see. Hopefully, we'll get a reissue, and there won't be a problem. But yeah, I do love this record. The more I listen to Cinderella, the more I dig them. Let's see. The More Things Change is on here. Shelter Me's on here. Heartbreak Station, of course. Love Gone Bad. So maybe not their biggest hits there, because it was 1990 and the tide wasn't turning a little bit. And they've been around for what? This is like their fourth album, isn't it? Heartbreak Station, if memory serves. So, but still, great band. Obviously, Tom Kiefer's still out there playing Cinderella music. Jen showed me a picture of Eric from Cinderella the other day. And you know what? I forgot to mention too. The Trickster record is out for pre-order. I'll mention that tomorrow. The Trickster Here record got announced this past weekend for pre-order. So sorry I didn't mention that. But Jen showed me a picture of Eric from he had that long white hair back in the day of like Nobody's Fool and Shake Me and stuff. And now he's got the short hair. He's still got his hair though. Got a little goatee. He looks 40 years older, but don't we all, right? So there you go. Cool. All right. One more check of the chat, and then we'll get out of here for the day. Let's see. I think we're caught up. Very nice. Beautiful. I don't think I missed anything. So, all right. There you go. That is the big show. I appreciate you hanging out with me. Tomorrow, we're talking about my top 5 records. So if you've got a top 5 list of 1985 records, which would include stuff like, what was I was looking up, like 1985 rock albums best. That's like the worst grammar ever, but let's try this again. Dire Straits, Brothers in Arms. I did dig that record. That is good. Oh, Killing Is My Business. That was the first year of the Megadeth record. Invasion of Your Privacy. Very nice. That was a great record. Done with Mirror, Last Command. By Wasp. Done with Mirrors was Aerosmith, Fly on the Wall. I don't think so. That's not going to be on my list. 7,800 Degrees Fahrenheit. That's a great record from 85. Spreading the Disease by Anthrax, a great record. Hell Awaits by Slayer. Seven Wishes. I did love the Seven Wishes record from Night Ranger. Ooh, I got a live record for you. Speaking of Scorpions, Worldwide Live by the Scorpions. Ooh, that's going to definitely make my list. Come Out and Play by Twisted Sister. Asylum by Kiss. Theater of Pain by Motley Crue. Those are some of the albums that'll be potentially on my top 5 list. Bonded in Blood by Exodus. I've started listening to the Exodus. They're pretty heavy, but I gotta say, the Bonded in Blood stuff is actually really good. Live After Death by Maiden came out then as well. Under Lock and Key by Dokken. Ooh, that's nice. Power Windows by Rush. Not their best record, but still. Soldiers Under Command, Striper, came out that year. Marching Out by Yngwie came out that year. Anything else that jumps out at me here? Let's see. Down for the Count by Y&T. So that's kind of a little bit of a taste. Endless Pain by Creator, if you're into metal, baby, metal. So there you go. Cool.